I am going to call the meeting to order at 12:12 p.m. Call the Election Commission meeting to order. Our agenda item today is to go over the rules of the guidelines that we have for the canvass of elections. And so we have a copy before us of the rules and practices that we have, and we were asked at our last meeting that we had, our organizational meeting in January, to go over this and then come back with any suggestions that we had for changes or whatever. So I will, I've read this over and have suggestions, so maybe what I think I will do is I will start with the two commissioners first.
What page are you starting on?
Just on, starting on page 6, which is really the beginning. The rest is all just cover pages and an introduction.
This
yes.
thing, Anchorage votes?
Yes.
No, I didn't have a big staple. I mean,
just one minute here. Let me get squared away because I'm not quite sure.
So maybe what I should do is let you know what some of my concerns were, and then we can go into discussion. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Is the commission okay with that?
Can we wait till I get to the starting place? Because I'm not.
So page 6 on the bottom.
I got 10 of 22. That's another section. Never mind. Here we go. It's right in the middle of what we got. We got a bunch of stuff that didn't seem to apply to what we're doing. Very well. Okay.
So
You're of 68 pages, right?
no.
What?
No, we are just looking at our 13-page or 20-page document of our rules of procedure. It was a handout that we had. I put mine in my notebook because I like my 3-ring binder. So is that one?
I didn't have 3-hole punch mine. So.
Okay.
I have a hole punch.
I'm sure you do.
I put a whole bunch of stuff in here with hole punch. Just a second.
Okay.
This one
No, that's not it either.
Observers.
That's from 2017.
You can find me in the starting place on me with you.
Here's where it says manual, but you please review.
Yeah.
It's the replacement for that.
That's what I told you. That's why I was thinking about it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm starting.
No, I'm straight.
I am starting here.
Sorry.
You have
Okay.
Oh, this one is 2018.
right. Do you have a new one for her?
Yeah, this is what I punched.
Well, this is we
Oh,
had
is that the one I gave you?
I think so.
This is 19 on mine.
right.
Wait a minute. I don't know.
Revised 124.19. Oh, okay.
This is it.
That is that one. Does that say revised one? Yes.
Yeah.
19.
but
Okay,
I
fine.
did the whole punches and put them in.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sorry about that.
I was on page 6.
Okay.
So maybe need to go back a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
This is dated 1/24/19. Okay.
We had a lot of material given to us, so I was.
Right.
I did this for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, what I did, and I wanted to go through, and I talked to Barbara a little bit. I feel that there are some terms in here that are outdated, and there are some terms that needed to be added for definition. And one of the terms that I feel is outdated is the word absentee, because we don't say absentee anymore unless it's referring to a specific situation. Otherwise, everything is vote by mail. So I kind of went through and did that. The other thing that we had talked about before was that we, whenever we said, rejected envelopes, we use the word ballot envelopes. We always said ballot envelope.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime there was the word ballot with no envelope, and every time there was the word envelope or envelope with no word ballot, I think we should put that in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good.
So that would be something, and I'm not sure that we need to go through and do that on every section that's on there.
So how do you want it termed?
It should say ballot envelope.
Okay. So we can make all those changes.
So basically, so anyway, let me just say we'll go back to that. So that was one of the things. The other thing is that it talks about the codes that are being used for rejected ballots,
Right.
and they're not all defined the same in all these sections in here.
Ah.
So they really need to be concise and put together and have all of them read the same. And some
In all
of
the
them,
sections of this particular
of this
one,
particular
or
manual,
all of it, all the way
'cause
through?
No, all the way through the manual, because they're mentioned several times.
Okay.
Okay, so those are my concerns. So now that I've talked about that, let's go back. Those are the things I would point out. Okay, so I'll just start with page 6. Did anybody have any suggestions for page 6? Because if not, we'll move on. I didn't.
I didn't have anything on 6.
Most of that is just strictly what's in code and everything, so I can't see any changes there. I did not have any changes to page 7.
I did.
Okay, what do you
The
have?
second line there it says, the election commission and election officials all work in teams of 2, or to work in teams of 2.
Oh,
Just
Our
a-
work in should be our working
or
in.
else you could cross out R.
No.
So what did you want to say?
R2, the word to, T-O, work in teams of 2. Otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
So,
Or you could exchange must for R.
so what, I'm sorry, so we're not looking at the same thing.
Here.
Yours is, okay, so read the sentence. So you're saying where it says,
the election commission and election officials are to work in teams of 2. That's a mandate.
So, okay. Or we could, okay, are to work. We could say that. Okay, let's do that.
Just a grammar teacher. What can I
That's
say?
okay.
Did I catch that one? I'm usually pretty good about that. I didn't catch that one.
Yeah. This
Okay.
English chick.
Anything else on page 7? No. Okay. So, on page 8, my concern here is that we do mention absentee twice under the bullets.
Yeah, we do.
And so I think, so ballot envelope, which is good because we use that word here, types that may be reviewed are as follows. Question ballot, where it says pending rejected and rejected early and absentee in-person envelopes. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But where it says pending rejected absentee by mail envelopes, we need to take the word absentee out because now we're just saying by mail. I think we should say pending rejected vote by mail. Yes?
So, in our language that we have going to the public notice of election, it has a paragraph in here about ballots mailed to temporary mailing address. And so the temporary address, those are taking over for the absentee.
Okay.
Would you like to look at this
Yes,
paragraph right
maybe
now?
we should.
I only have the one copy.
So we're not, ballots going to an address other than the mailing address of record, formerly called absentee ballots, will be mailed to voters at a temporary mailing address beginning on March 12th, for all voters who submit temporary address applications by February 28th. Otherwise, applications for ballots to be mailed to a temporary address should be submitted to the MOA,
So this is
Okay.
using temporary addresses in lieu of absentee.
Okay.
Interesting.
So pending rejected early and
Wow.
do we want to use temporary?
Oh boy.
Absentee might still be appropriate then. Rejected.
But they're not in person.
No, not the in-person ones. The next one. I was thinking pending rejected absentee by mail envelopes.
Okay. Somewhere in here we need to say pending rejected vote by mail ballot. And what we're using is we're changing the word where we say the fax ballots are okay, the electronic ballots are okay, we're saying ballot only. Okay, so I guess we could keep absentee there because they would be absentee by mail.
Exactly.
And there could be absentee in person.
Then perhaps you need to go to the terms list and have a chat about that.
Okay, before we do that, I
Sure.
think what we need to do is we need to add something here saying pended rejected vote by mail ballot envelopes. Okay?
So you want to cross out absentee.
Nope, we're going to leave
it's
that in
gonna
there.
add
because-
another bullet.
Oh.
Because there's going to be
Oh,
people who
okay.
are going to vote absentee in
Gotcha.
person, and there are going to be people who vote absentee by mail.
So how do you want the change worded again?
We're just going to add a new one on the bottom. Pending rejected vote by mail
Okay.
ballot envelopes.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so what we've covered is we covered question, because we'll still have some of those. We're covering pending rejected early and absentee, which are those, I don't think we need the word early, do we, Amy?
So we do have people that come in early.
Before the ballots are mailed out? Got it, we'll leave that word then. Okay, and then pending rejected absentee by mail, because there will be those that she showed me that would be if they're asking to go to a different address. Then we're going to do special needs. These are all envelopes.
Yep.
But when we get to the pending rejected electronic ballots, that's strictly a ballot because that came in, electronically, as well as the fax came in, as a ballot. And then pending rejected vote by mail ballot envelopes. So I think what we should do is put the pending rejected vote by mail ballot envelopes
It's a fourth bullet.
the very first,
Oh, okay.
because those are going to be the majority.
So we should
So that should be the first one.
push that to the top.
And then there'll be the question ballot, the pending early, the pending, all the other ones are
Right.
special ones. So we'll start with pending rejected vote by mail ballot envelopes.
Okay.
That'll be first. And are they still called the review teams, Amy?
Review and resolution team.
Okay, well, let's change that. So the review and resolution up at the very top. So we'll say review and resolution. Team. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Because I wanted to clarify it, like what's absentee and what's vote by mail. Okay, all right, that one sounds good. Okay, page 9 and 10 are kind of together.
Yeah, I
they're the
noticed
same.
that I noticed that they substituted election administrator for the deputy clerk
Yeah.
all the way through this one.
And they did.
Do we have an election administrator, Amy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Barbara is the administrator, and then I'm the coordinator.
Okay.
We don't have a deputy clerk anymore?
There's no deputy there is a deputy, but it's for the clerk's office, so we
But it
we
doesn't
don't
have anything to do with
Nothing
this
to do with
office.
election.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay, so before we go any further, I'd like to go to the second page. So in other words, I think that this item that's listed on the last page should be the very first item on the previous page, because before we even schedule a public canvass, they are notifying the voter in writing that his or her ballot is rejected.
You are correct.
True. True.
So that should be the very first item on page 9. Okay, so Amy, we're going to move that to page 9. Okay. And I think we need to change the word on page 10 to say not ballot, but ballot envelope again. So every time we go through, we're taking the word ballot, because we're not rejecting the ballot, we're rejecting the envelope because it's the information. Okay.
I have a kind of an odd question. We're using franked envelopes now, right?
Franked envelopes.
Somewhere or other, I got the impression that we're doing postage paid envelopes. They're franked for the voters, no?
They're not.
No, they're going to
Okay,
put their own
'cause you had
stamp
mentioned
on
that
it.
earlier, and I thought, so. Okay, we're not.
Somewhere, never mind, I'll find it somewhere later, but I
don't remember.
I put a sticky on it. I'll
Okay.
maybe find it.
Okay, so I think that should be the first thing we should do, because really that's done before they do, this is preparing for the public session of the canvass, and that's the first thing, is to notify the voter that his or her ballot envelope is rejected. And we'll state the reason for the rejecting. So we're adding the word envelope and making that number 1. Okay.
Okay, I found it.
Okay, well, let's wait till we get there.
Okay, well, I don't think we're going to do this. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Triple crank it later.
Okay. Amy?
Joyce, so what the team does is, instead of saying that their ballot is rejected, it's they give an opportunity to cure, and so
right.
and they don't reject it until after the commission
Got it.
decides.
So they notify the voter in writing that his or her ballot envelope, how can we say that,
Is questioned?
is questioned?
They give them
What do
I believe it's an opportunity to cure.
That's what it's
So
called.
they give
yeah.
cure letters, and they explain the reason of why it could potentially be rejected, and then give them an opportunity to either come in and provide ID or whatever the case may be.
Okay, so we need to change the word rejected to,
Question?
and we will say opportunity to cure letter, but we need to change once the ballot envelope is
question.
Incomplete. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We need a word. Incomplete. The election administrator or election coordinator must notify the voter in
How
in
about
writing.
challenged?
We could say challenged. Could we say challenged? Does that sound good? Is that a word that maybe, okay, let's try that.
We have challenges at other places in these
Right.
regs, so it might be confusing.
Okay,
but-
once a ballot envelope is challenged for counting, which is true, the ballot envelope is challenged. I don't think we need to say for counting. We can just say once a ballot envelope is challenged. The election administrator or election coordinator must notify the voter in writing through an opportunity, by providing an opportunity to cure letter. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Good.
Joyce? We actually have the team, the review and resolution team. They're the ones that contact. So Barbara and I, we don't contact them. It would be the review and resolution team.
You might want to rewrite the paragraph then. There's a lot of changes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so once a ballot envelope is challenged, what's it called? The ballot?
The review and resolution team.
Okay. The review and resolution team. Must notify the voter in writing by providing an opportunity to cure letter stating the reason for the challenge. How's that sound?
Okay.
If time permits, and it would be the review and resolution team again. If time permits, the review and resolution team will notify the voter of the date and time of the public session of canvass where the voter may be. Okay, does that make sense? Because it's the review team. So we'll change that election administrator or election coordinator to the review and resolution team. Okay, so let me read it again. Once a ballot envelope is challenged, the review and resolution team must notify the voter in writing by providing an opportunity to cure letter stating the reason for the challenge. And then that would be, is it still, is that code number still a good valid code number?
That I don't know. So
Okay, well, we'll let you check that. We can check that out. Okay, and then we'll say, if time permits, the review and resolution team will notify the voter of the date and time of the public session of canvass where the voter may meet with the Anchorage Election Commission to challenge the rejection.
To challenge the
Rejection
challenge.
is a good word there.
That's
Yes.
okay there, to challenge the rejection
Yeah.
of the ballot envelope. We're going to change it to envelope again.
Okay.
And then you can check that code too. So we'll check that. We'll leave that with you. I don't think we need to do it right now. We don't have time to do that. Okay, well, geez. Moving that to item number 1. Okay. So, the next one, which would be the next bullet, says the election administrator or election coordinator schedules a public session of canvass consistent with the municipal code and notifies the election commission. I don't see anything changing there. If you do, just jump in. Prior to the public session of canvass, the election commission as a whole meets on the record. The election administrator or election coordinator presents a draft of the public canvass report to the election commission. Public session of canvass report will include the number of rejected ballot envelopes for each category on the final report worksheet. So we're adding the word ballot. I didn't see anything except down to the third bullet then where we're going to say they will, the election administrator or election coordinator provide statistics to the election commission to reconcile the rejected count of question ballot envelopes.
Is that review and resolution team? Substitute
No, because
there?
we're still at the canvas. We're at the canvas.
Okay, got it.
So it would be the count of question ballot envelopes.
Okay.
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 So my question comes to the bullet under that bullet, which says it is important that each election commission member participate in those final counts since all election commissioners typically sign the final report. I will not be here.
And you just need a quorum.
Right, so I think we need to change that because of circumstances beyond my control. I can't be here.
We're going to
So-
have a couple of extra people by then.
We're hoping to have a couple extra commissioners, so we'll have a full
According to Bob.
But just in
complement.
case, you should
On
change
the
it to quorum.
26th.
So, pardon?
On the 26th, the assembly is going.
Okay, so it is important that, why don't we just say that election commission members participate, and we don't have to say that each.
Why don't
So-
you put a quorum?
Yes, that's what I was going to add that on the end. Okay. It is important that election commission members participate, take the S off,
Yeah.
in these final counts, since all election commission members typically sign the final report. A quorum is needed for these actions to be taken.
Okay.
Which then takes away the fact that if for some reason a commissioner can't make it to the meeting, then we don't have that written in there, because that was my question. So we're going to say it is important that election commission members participate in these final counts, since all election commissioners typically sign the final report. A quorum is needed for these actions to be taken. So that's basically what it's saying, which is tradition and whatever, but I think it's important to put it in there, so.
Do we say needed or required?
Is required.
Required, yeah.
I like that better.
Yes.
It makes it more succinct. Okay. A quorum is required for these actions to be taken. I don't see anything with the next item unless you guys, I don't want to have to go through all these, we could be here all day. So at the public session, we've got here on the second bullet, my thing again was rejected ballot envelopes for the end of that first line. Okay. The preliminarily rejected ballot envelopes are to be available for the public review upon request.
Yeah.
Okay? We're using the word envelopes there. The next bullet, I think we need to add on where it says to the proposed rejection or counting of the ballot envelope. We're going to add the word envelope there. At the end of that line, we're going to say rejected ballot envelopes. Again, we're not saying rejected envelopes. We're always going to use the word ballot envelopes.
Wait a minute, where are you?
On the third
On the
bullet.
third bullet.
Okay.
So one's going to, and one says ballot, we need to say envelope, and
Got
one
it.
says envelope, and we need to add the word ballot. So,
Okay.
need to be consistent.
Yes.
I don't see anything else on the rest of this page. If anybody else does, let me know. All right, so we've taken care of page 9 and 10.
Okay. Moving right along.
Okay. So we're now on page 11. I only got to go to 20. No. Okay.
That's not
All
many.
right. On that first bullet there, we're now talking about the election certification report. I think where it says on the second, that first bullet, but the second bullet underneath that one, where it says the total number of absentee ballots cast. Amy, do we need to have that in there, and can't we just say, what was the term we used before? We used,
Temporary address.
yeah. But absentee could mean in-person, early voting, electronic, fax ballots. Do you see what I mean? It would include all of those.
Maybe you need to redefine absentee then.
So maybe
in your,
what
in
we
your list.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
need to maybe put a definition in the
Right.
back what the word absentee means. Does that sound?
So did we want to go away from the word absentee all entirely? I'm not sure what the
You should just
state
say
is
what it might
doing,
include,
but-
maybe, in the list.
Right.
in the definitions.
Right.
So you're just expanding what absentee means.
Because we don't use absentee
You have to be
anymore. We
flexible.
just
You
use,
have to be able to use
yeah.
it some way.
Right.
Yeah, so because we just say temporary address, you say fax, voting, electronic voting, things like that. So
Okay, well then let's go back to page 8, because then I think I like that idea, because that we need to take that word out, because it's really, so maybe under the second bullet there on page 8, instead of saying absentee, we could say pending, rejected, early, and in person. envelopes. Let's take absentee out completely.
Well, okay.
And on the next one, let's say pending rejected, and we need to specify what that is. We'll take the word absentee out, and we need to specify not by mail, but we need to specify pending rejected, what did you call it again?
Temporary address.
Temporary address by mail envelopes. There we go. Okay. Temporary address, and I think address should be capitalized.
Yeah.
So that we know that it's like a term. Okay, well then that takes care of what's on page 11.
It's just, it looks to me like it's just consistency throughout
Yeah.
that we're battling.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, where we say total number of absentee ballots cast, we're going to say what we just said, total number of, we're going to use the same terms, we're going to say total number of temporary address
Are we going to
by
add that?
mail.
Are we adding that on page 11?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to say temporary address, capitalize again.
Where do you want to put it?
Are you getting all of this? 'Cause you're
On the
gonna have to
third line
retype.
down where we're taking out the
Okay.
word absentee.
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, wait, oops.
I just feel it's so important to be consistent throughout the whole thing, otherwise I don't know what we're
Absolutely.
talking
Otherwise,
about.
you're not, yeah.
Wait.
I guess I'm a stickler and I've worked with statutes all my life and all the jobs I've
Now
had,
I'm
and they got to
confused.
be very, very pointed.
Third
Because
line
otherwise they're
down.
not interpreted the way you want.
Third line down, second
Third
bullet.
line, second line
bullet.
should say the
Second
total
bullet.
number of
Got it.
temporary address by mail ballots cast. And then we're going to say the total number of questioned. We're going to take out what's in parentheses because we're not using that anymore because
Okay.
they're just ballots. Total number of special needs, total number of electronic, and we're not using the word electronic, we're using fax. Oh, we are saying electronic, I'm sorry. But now we don't have the word fax here, so I didn't catch that. So under electronic, we need to say,
Shouldn't that be a definition?
Yeah.
Should you have two separate lines, electronic
well,
ballots
on
and then
page
fax?
8, we said electronic and then we said fax. So I think we should do the
Are
same
you
here.
still using fax?
Yes, we
Okay.
still have, yeah. So right under electronic ballots, we're going to say the total number of fax ballots cast. We're going to add a category there.
Okay. This is a second bullet.
Below electronic ballots. Yes.
Yeah, it's
yes,
it's another bullet.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Isn't fax an electronic thing?
It is, well,
I guess we're just trying to
It's
be
a
specific.
fax-
No,
Facsimile-
no, electronic can be by email now.
That's true.
So that's why we have the two separate ones.
Yeah.
So one
Yeah.
can be email, one can be
but
fax.
fax
The total-
produces a paper copy. It's a difference.
Yeah, so they're two different ones. So
Yeah.
electronic and fax are two different ones. Okay, so then we go the total absentee countable. So basically what we want is we want the total vote by mail. Is that what we want? We have a special vote by mail count because we're keeping these all separate. So then we'd have the vote by mail. So we're just going to put BVM, vote by mail. And we
Is
can
that
have
another
spelled
bullet?
out. No, we're just going to cross out the word absentee and put vote by mail.
But aren't those two different categories, though? You've got your absentees, and then you've got the vote by mail that come in.
That's why we're doing the total number of ballots cast, and then we're breaking it down into absentee ballots, question ballots, special needs, electronic,
Okay.
fax.
Okay. Got it.
At least that's the way I'm looking at it. We can always
Yep.
meet again if we need to, and then
Would you like me to get ask Barbara if she can have her suggestions or anything after I make the changes?
yes, that would be the best thing to do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
To make
Right.
sure we're not reading into something that we didn't understand.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
zero out everything you put. Just
Okay.
put our changes proposed.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll get really confused. No.
Okay, so the total question countable. The total countable. So, what we've done is we've got, the way I'm reading this is we've got the absentee, the question, the special needs, the electronic, the fax, and then we've got vote by mail. And then we're doing the total completely. You see what I mean? We're breaking them down and doing the total. So I don't feel that that line that says the total question countable, we don't need that line in there. Because we've
No.
already repeated it up above.
Right.
So basically what we're doing is we are taking the total count and we're breaking it down by how they came in.
Yeah.
Vote by mail, fax, electronic, in person or temporary address by mail and so forth. Okay.
It's just a version of the total ballot count that we did before
Exactly.
when it was all in the
And we're just
precinct.
defining it
Yeah,
out by category.
Sure.
Okay.
The ballot.
And I don't think we missed any categories that I can think of that were in here. Okay. So the election commissions, this is the clerk's one. The election commission's election report includes the following. So we are going to include, I think what we need to say is rejected ballot envelopes and take out the word question and absentee because we're not using, you know what I mean? We're not using them anymore right now. So all we're doing is we're going to put down the number of rejected ballot envelopes.
For whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically on pages, we go through the ballot reject codes and definitions and then the summary of the codes and reject codes. And, the last umpteen pages actually go through all the codes and the definitions.
Oh, yeah. Can I
And they're
ask-
being repeated in different ways, and that's what I feel isn't really consistent. I mean, the codes are all right there, but the language that's explaining them isn't consistent, and I think that if we're going to go through that, then the language needs to be consistent from what's on this page. And if we're abbreviating it on the next page, that's fine, and that includes what's here on page 11.
I have a question.
Yes.
On page, are we to page 12 yet?
No, we're
No,
still
we're
on
still on
11.
11.
Excuse me. All right.
So,
So the total absentee question rejected, that wouldn't be correct then?
no.
So we're going to take that line out?
No.
Or is this
We're
the
going-
temporary address rejected?
I think that the total here needs to be consistent with what's
Yep.
up on the top.
Yeah.
So I think if we, Amy, take what's on the top and just move it down to the
And
bottom
apply it, yeah.
and apply it, you see what I mean? Because if we're not consistent, then nobody's going to know what's being said.
Exactly.
So where it says total down there, I think we need to use the same as above.
Right.
I don't think we need to go through all that because we just did, but it should be the same as above.
So you can work it out.
So I had a couple minor little things. Like if we go down, halfway down to where the bullets are, the darker bullets under this, our commission report, where it says ballot not postmarked,
Yes.
we should say ballot not dated / postmarked, because that's what we did, remember?
Yeah.
There were some that
That's
didn't have
true.
the date, because there was no, it wasn't postmarked, but they didn't have a date, but yet it was received after Election Day. And then where it says empty envelope, I keep going between envelope and envelope, so excuse me.
That's okay. We know
It
what
should
you
be
mean.
ballot envelope empty. I don't think it should say empty envelope. It's a ballot envelope that's empty.
True.
You see what I mean?
Oh.
There's just another little thing.
Empty ballot envelope.
Ballot envelope empty, I think.
What? Oh,
We're always saying,
I got it. Yeah. Okay.
and then Amy, if you go up where it says ballot received too late, we're going to say ballot envelope received too late, ballot postmarked after Election Day, ballot envelope. You know what I mean? We're changing all of the word ballot to ballot envelope.
Okay.
Or if it says envelope, we're putting the word ballot in front of it, because it kind of goes back and forth. Actually, I kind of loved working on statutes.
Because you can be just as picky as you want.
Picky,
right?
picky.
No, actually,
So
it's
then
good
it
because
would be ballot
it simply
envelopes.
puts all the questions to rest.
Yes.
That's right.
So the top part is being duplicated to the bottom part total, and then we're just defining a few things in there that didn't have consistent terms that we're trying to be consistent throughout. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm doing all the talking.
That's the way you're supposed to.
That's what
Okay.
you're supposed to. That's why you're there.
Okay, so the bottom one, unless Amy's we're using the wrong terms, like election administrator or election coordinator, I don't have anything for the bottom.
This thing, signatures of all election commissioners.
Oh, signatures of, take the word all out, of election commissioners.
present or quorum of.
No, we don't need to say
No,
that.
we don't need that.
Signature of election commissioners
Yeah.
present at meeting.
Okay.
And I don't see anything with the one on the bottom of the page. The one on the top of page 12 is in code, so I don't think we can, there's nothing to do with that.
Do what?
The one at the top of the page that has the first bullet, it says it's a code one, it's where it says Anchorage
Oh,
Assembly.
yeah.
I don't see anything there. And then,
Just see that code is correct.
Yeah.
See that code.
yeah, check that
the-
code again,
Check
because
the
I don't
code.
know.
Code number is
Yeah.
2880. That's
Yeah, I'll check all the codes
Okay.
and just verify.
And it could say all election commissioners are invited and encouraged to attend, because they are, so.
well, please don't forget my question about franked envelopes, because it's going to go back to one of these points that we just went over.
Where did you see the Frank thing? Is it in the code itself?
Yeah, it's back in here.
What is it, Title 28 or what?
Yes.
Where is it in Title 28?
It is page 6. At least that's what I'm looking at. So if it isn't, you can spot me
Are you Title 15 or Title 28?
here. No, I'm entitled 28, page 6 of 651. This is the new stuff that we got.
What page?
6 of 51.
6. Okay, thank
Look
you.
down on the number B.
I guess, give me the actual citing, because I must not have changed mine.
Just a minute. Well, I didn't change anything. It was a question. It's a voting by mail. Okay. Where did I see this? Dang it.
Oh, yeah, because see, mine's from 17. I must not have updated it.
There's something in here about postage paid envelopes. I swear to God, I know I saw it because it was a hot button on one of the last discussions that we had. Dang, I should have marked it. No, I can't find it, of course. I have it tagged, but I can't find it. It was in paragraph B. Oh, criminy.
So what is the citing? What code number are you in? Or because it could have been changed.
I am in 2840.010. Section 8.
Oh, okay.
How did I see
No, I
this?
don't. Yeah, I do.
I know I wasn't seeing things.
2840?
Yes. It's form.
Okay, I got 2885. Wait a minute.
Yo.
Okay. I do have the new one. 2841 again, I'm sorry.
On page 6, paragraph B, 1B. At least that was my note. Maybe I was so tired I mismarked it. But if I find it again, I'll tell you guys.
Yeah, because I'm thinking you might have an old one. Do you have
No,
a
I
date
don't.
on the bottom of yours?
Oh, what?
Yours should say
Oh my God, it is
12419.
2017.
Yep, I got a
Oh,
feeling
that's
it's
the
been
wrong
changed.
one. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes, why?
I have a new one in here. Here, you can have this one.
This is one you got.
Okay, that is the new one.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Okay,
I'm wondering.
because I had the one that said 12419.
Okay, never
Okay, so
mind.
I think we got
I
that
will
one
be close.
resolved
Thank
since
you.
you had an old code. Okay.
You know, I'm wondering if when we redid the binders, if we just left the old one in there.
I see my old one in here and my
Is
new
the
one
old one
after
in
it.
there?
Yeah,
It should have been taken out.
I do see
Oh,
it.
I
do
pulled
see
my
that.
old one, and so
I do see that in there.
No,
yeah.
never mind. Maybe I confused them.
Okay.
That's possible. So let me see. Let me get rid of this.
So where are we then?
We're on page 13.
Okay, I'll get back to here in a minute. So it's all these 68 pages? Yeah. You can have this old one.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on page 13. We're
I'll
doing
get back in a
good.
minute.
We're over halfway through.
Yeah. Good
We're
here.
doing well.
Yes, we're
It
doing.
may have been my error, and I posted the
Okay.
wrong one. I don't know.
I don't think my instructions were clear about changing
Never mind,
out the
I'm easily-
binder.
I'm-
Oh, okay.
Not
I'm
anything
easily
with you guys.
confused.
Okay, these ballot reject codes and
not for me.
definitions are really from the state. Okay, so my question to you is, if we are not using some of these because we aren't doing this anymore, like we don't ask for an identifier on the envelope, am I correct?
That's
We
right.
don't,
You're
do
correct.
we?
We don't.
Okay, so that's what G is on page 13. So do we need to leave that in there and just, even though we're not using it? Because that was my question.
Ooh, that could be confusing.
Because voter failed to provide identifying information, we don't do
if you're
that.
not there, you can't get an identifier.
I mean, we don't we don't require that now on the back of the envelope,
So,
Okay.
right?
That's correct. Was this changed to?
These
they
are
didn't
state
vote?
codes, so.
Oh, this is state.
These
code.
are state
Okay.
codes, so I guess my question is, could you make a note to ask Barbara if we need to include that, because we're not doing that? I mean, if it has to be in there, we're fine, because they're the state codes, but our municipal code has changed it that we don't require that anymore. So we don't require them to provide that information. So I would just say, why don't you check that out with Barbara?
Okay.
I just put a question mark by it.
And if we don't need it, I would take it out, because it doesn't, it's like it's confusing. In a
Now,
way.
are these? So these are your codes for when you have the public session of Canvas.
These are the codes that the
But these are
that
for the
the team would be using as to put on the ballot when they're rejecting it as well.
And we have a few other codes too. Like wasn't there like a W1, W2?
I know. There are.
And it's not in here.
Well, we have some additional ones that we put in, or the Muni put in. So what I would do is ask Barbara about that one. I mean,
Okay.
these
Yeah.
are like the state ones.
Yeah.
And I think that at the top we should say state, because that's what they are.
State
and then-
ballot reject codes?
Yeah, state ballot reject codes and definitions, because they're not ours, they're the state's.
Are yours different from theirs?
No, we have additional ones.
Oh, boy.
We have, the state has those, and the Muni has additional because we operate differently, so we can actually put in, and I'm speaking on experience, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
the statute allows you to be more, or,
More stringent,
yes, to put your stuff in.
but not less.
Right, so in other words, we've done different things that make sure that this person is who
Okay.
they say they
All right.
are. Okay, so my other question was K on the same page. I wondered if we ever had any that they had a by mail ballot envelope that was received from a person who had not applied for the ballot. Well, you don't have to apply for it.
Because
They're mailed too.
because
Yeah.
it's automatic
because
now.
of your registration.
So can you ask Barbara about that one too?
Yeah, this is a leftover when you had to ask for
Right,
for a mail.
so I don't know if that's something we have to do or not.
Huh.
And then on the very bottom one, I think even though it's a state code, I don't see why we couldn't add the word envelope after ballot envelope. Where it says ballot not dated postmark. Should be-
That K could apply, could we go back to that? That could apply to somebody who may have had a ballot sent to their home and then they were out of
Temporary.
state somewhere and applied for a ballot to be sent to a different address.
That's why I said ask Barbara, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. The other one definitely, but that one I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my question is, if this is state codes, they're still in the doing precincts, aren't they? So
Yeah.
it would apply to them.
But no, I know that, but we're only using these codes as it applies to the Muni ballots.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
not doing anything with the state.
So from our regulation, we can rip it off. From theirs, it stays.
Right, because we aren't
Okay.
using it. Because
Got it.
it isn't applicable.
Okay.
I guess was what my question is.
Oh, I get it. I'm slow.
Yeah. Okay. On V on the top, if we could add the word envelope up there, like 3 times. Again, even though they're state codes, we can make it consistent so we know what we're talking about. And W as well, in the title and in the statement.
Oh, we're doing all their homework for them.
Pardon?
We're doing this all for them too.
Yeah, we're doing this for them. How about that?
They don't know it needs to be done.
Joyce, you have about 3 more minutes left of your work session.
You're kidding. That's
Oh,
it.
time flies.
It's supposed to be from 12 to 1? Okay, well, let's
hurry up
finish
then.
this page
Well, we
real
only
quick.
started at 1:15 though.
It's noticed for 1 hour, but let me check with Barbara and see if you can extend the meeting.
We started at
Okay,
12:10.
okay, all right.
Line on the lake. We could just do it on page. I'm going to finish
Well, you
this.
know why? The rest of them are all repeating the codes, and
Okay.
they just need to be consistent.
Yeah.
If we can get through this page.
Okay.
So they're just repeating.
Yeah,
you
you
read
can
it?
extend the meeting.
We can.
Oh, great.
Okay, all right. So W, we were going to add the word envelope. We don't witness the envelopes anymore. They're not witnessed by anybody.
They are if somebody does not want to sign. So they would
That's
put
true.
an X, and then the
Okay.
witness would sign the envelope for them.
So it
Okay.
should be ballot envelope.
Where are you?
Where?
What page
I
are you
was
on?
looking
Number
at-
Y.
I was looking at Y where it said
Okay.
inadequate witnessing. Code is used when it is determined that the ballot, and we'll say envelope, was not properly witnessed for by mail and fax ballots. An unauthorized official or person over 18 must witness the voter's signature. That's not true.
Huh.
I'm gonna go grab the.
Well, otherwise, why don't you just ask Barbara on that one again?
Okay.
Because I think if we said the code is used when it is determined that the ballot envelope was not properly witnessed, and just leave it as that, because it could be that the person couldn't sign.
For whatever
you know,
reason.
They
Yeah.
put an X and then somebody witnessed the signature, or there could be a variety of other
They could have had
ways.
surgery or whatever.
Yeah. I'm concerned about the last part of it.
The over 18 witness?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm fine with just leaving it.
Yeah. There's no harm in it.
It's a state code, and I guess, all right, let's just leave that one and just add the word envelope on there. Under voter failed to sign, I think we should say at the end of the line, where it says this code is used as if it is determined that the voter did not sign the required voter certificate on the ballot envelope,
Yeah, be specific.
because that's where it is.
Okay.
I don't know if we require notaries anymore.
I was
on the
going to
back
say
of
that.
the back of the
That doesn't
envelope.
look right.
I think number 1, I don't think we do that anymore.
No.
Incomplete notary. The code is used when the notary public witnessing the ballot envelope
We need
failed
to
to
get rid of that.
execute. Check with Barbara on that one, but I don't think that one's required. Under 2, we need to put the word envelope in the title and in the statement. Number 3, same, envelope and envelope.
Does that apply to number 3? Is it ballot? Because the ballot is voted, not the envelope.
Yes. I think you're right. You're not talking about the envelope at this point. It's only the ballot.
Well, no, because we wouldn't know that unless somebody else signed the ballot
Then maybe you
envelope. Because
Get rid of this because you wouldn't know.
No, here's the scenario. So if my husband and I received it, and I'm the only one that sent, or mine only came back, but yet my husband signed mine, he voted mine. So the ballot envelope was voted by someone other than the voter. You see what I'm saying? He would have
Yeah.
signed my envelope and I didn't vote.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
In that scenario,
So we're just going to add the word envelope on there?
Ballot envelope voted by someone other than the voter. That's what you're saying.
Right,
You can't vote the ballot envelope.
right.
because the
Only the
ballot,
ballot.
is valid voted.
So what we need to say is signed, ballot envelope signed. Thank you, because I realize now what we're saying. Ballot envelope signed by someone other than the voter. And we'll say that here.
Okay.
Got it. And we had those. We had those.
Yes. Okay. What?
Well, that has to do if they go to an accessible vote center and you have to have ID.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
right.
I don't see anything wrong with that unless there's some wording in there that,
Okay.
okay.
We're only using, for the muni elections now, we're only using accessible vote centers, period. And by mails. We're no more precincts.
No
Right,
more.
correct.
Yay.
No.
Yeah. So the next page is just an abbreviation of what we just went through.
Okay. Then let's go.
So I think the only thing that you would need to do on here is add envelope a couple times.
Yeah. Ballot envelope hand delivered after
You know, like duplicate ballot envelope.
Yeah, yeah.
Under D and under U where we added the word envelope. Wherever we added the word envelope on the last page, we
Yeah.
added here. Because this is just sort of a
Summary.
summary of what they are. So I don't see anything. I mean, there's nothing changing there. We're just saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Okay.
Yeah, because it's really appropriate to say envelope because you don't just
you can't
give them
change-
a ballot.
you
Right.
can't-
and the
None
ballot.
of them are the ballot. They're always the
Choice.
envelope. What?
Yes, they are sometimes. You can't change K. The ballot envelope isn't what you're applying for. You're applying for the ballot.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
we
that's
didn't
correct.
change that on the
No, we
previous
didn't.
page.
We didn't change.
Yeah, we're only doing the ones that we changed on the previous page. We didn't change that one. Okay.
Okay. Moving right along. We're almost finished.
Okay. And then the W, Z, Y, and G are all on the previous page as well.
Okay.
So whatever we put on there, Amy will add the words on that one instead of going through it.
Here's what I'm interested in.
Okay, so, and then under the first heading would be ballot envelopes. And then the second heading would be ballot envelopes as well. So we're changing all the word ballots to ballot envelopes.
On this count, no count.
Right.
Okay.
So, and did we call them, we didn't call them question ballots, we called them challenge ballots, didn't we?
Yes.
So we're going to change this. We're just going to say, we're going to take out the word absentee at the top, and we're just going to say challenge ballot envelopes, because it includes all of them, all of the different categories. They're not necessarily by mail.
Oh.
You remember? Because we
Yeah,
started
okay.
in the beginning,
All right,
they're all
okay.
the different types. I didn't catch that on my notes. But
Challenge ballot.
see, I wrote in red, now I'm writing in green, so now I know.
Uh,
It's my little
I'm writing illegible.
My little
I
code
think
of what
I'll
I'm
put it
doing,
on.
okay. So we're changing the first heading where it says ballots will not be counted to ballot envelopes will not be counted, and then we're changing the second heading, ballot envelopes will be counted. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you had some questions on the second set, like the 1 through 14?
The only thing, based on the old reg I had before, it was without a postmark. My
Oh.
question was, if you had a franked envelope, would it have a postmark or not? Do they frank those?
Well, that would have went
Did
out
they
to
post-
them, but when they come back, they had to put a stamp on. So yes, they would have had a postmark.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind then.
Unless they handed it in without sending it through the mail.
True. And then it would have been coming in either here or at an accessible
It would
vote
go
center.
on a register at
And
that
then
point
they'd have
somewhere.
to have it
Yes.
documented. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Wait. What is this? Look at 10. What the heck? Envelopes will be counted if they're witnessed by the registrar, an absentee official, or an election board member, or on or before election day. What?
where are you reading?
This is number 10.
On
Oh,
page
yeah.
Page
16.
16. Huh? Who's the registrar?
Well,
Do we have any of these guys anymore?
let's start at the first one then, because
Okay.
so number 1 says received honor before election day without a postmark if dated, and witnessed prior to or on election day.
that's-
We're not doing witnesses anymore.
Then you can get rid of the witness. Because you're only looking at the postmark, right?
Right. Received on or before election day without a postmark if dated.
Yeah.
So they will be counted if they are received on or before election day without a postmark if dated.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, on or before. We don't want to say definitely. Okay, so we're going to take the last part of that out.
What?
That's it. We're going to take out and witness prior to or on election day.
Oh,
Okay.
if dated, we're going to remove
So we're just
all
going
of
to say received on or before election day without a postmark if dated.
it. Okay, period. Okay.
The second one says received on or before election day undated.
Oh, you don't need the witnesses thing.
No.
Just without a postmark.
I would just say without a postmark.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's the witness thing that's going to hang us up on this. One of the things.
Voter printed name, made a mark, or signed using initials. Yes, we can accept
Yeah,
that one.
right?
Voter signed a new name which is
Oops.
similar. I'm sorry, what?
I just said, oops. Oh, never mind.
Voter signed a new name which is similar but not exactly the same as the name registered under, provided the envelope is witnessed correctly. Well, we're not doing anything with witnessing. We're taking that out.
Well,
So
what
we're
about?
saying voter signed a new name which is similar but not exactly the same as the name registered under. What happened in this last election was if your name was Robert and you signed Bob, it was accepted.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
all
what this is doing.
Okay.
So in other words, my husband's name is James, and if he
Yeah,
signed Jim, and his signature looked exactly like, except for the James, the rest of it looked the same, well, then it was accepted.
That sounds reasonable. Okay. I'm trying to
would
make
be
it easier,
accepted.
not harder.
Right. If it was
Right.
signed in the wrong place by the voter, well, yeah, if they missed the line and signed above it or below it or next to it.
It's
or-
fine, yeah.
Okay. Ballot envelopes will be counted if they are not listed with the time or date by the official. We don't need that.
We don't, yeah.
That can be taken out. Not listed with the location where the witnessing took place. Take that out. Official printed name, made a mark, or signed some initials. We're not talking about an official here, so we can take that out. Official signed in the wrong place. We don't take that out. So we're taking
would've
out
been one of us.
6, 7, 8, and 9 are no
Yeah.
longer required.
All right.
Witnessed by the registrar, an absentee official, or an election board member on or before election date. We don't need that either.
Joyce?
Yes.
We don't have any of those, but we do have accessible vote center election workers, and they can witness, and it would be in their book, their binder. And so the voter would vote that, and then they would sign the binder, and the election worker would witness that, and then they would just have their X
Okay.
as their signature.
Okay.
If you wanted to reword that, maybe.
So you could just reword 10.
Okay. So it would be witnessed by the registrar, an absentee official, or an election board member on or before election day. We can leave 10 in there then.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Amy? So it would be witnessed by,
An election worker.
okay. So why don't we take out registrar and an absentee, and we'll just say by an election worker.
Okay.
Is that what they're called, election workers? Or an election official, what are they called?
Election official.
board-
Okay,
they are
so
election
witnessed
board
by,
members,
I'm sorry, what, Glennis?
No, they are election board members.
So witnessed by an election official or an election board member on or before election day. That would cover those that are at an accessible vote center that mark an X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't have board members at the
Right.
But aren't they
So it
called
would
board
be-
members? Because
officials.
the group that... Okay, because we used to call them the board members.
Okay, so be witnessed by an election official on or before election day.
Oh. That sounds good.
Okay, that sort of covers everybody.
Yeah.
Because they're all considered election officials.
Okay.
I don't know what option 2 is in the next one. You have any idea? I highlighted that, I don't know. It says returned using option 2 and one or both witnesses printed their name, made a mark, or signed initials. We don't do that anymore. So, and the second, then the number 12 says returned using option 2, but one or both signatures are not on the appropriate lines. For example, one witness signed under option 2, and the other witness signed under
I
option
don't know
1.
what the option
Is it option 11 or option 2?
No, I would
It's
say,
option 2. They said option 1 and option 2. It should be,
Okay.
those are Roman numerals.
Yeah.
I guess I would take out 11 and 12 because we, like I said,
We don't know
took
what
the
options 1 and
witnessing.
2 are.
We don't.
I'm just putting a question mark there. Huh?
Pardon?
I'm just putting a question mark there.
Put a question mark there? But we don't have official sign anymore where they have to print their name.
Okay.
What, it would be witnessed. Because we have voter printed their name, made a mark, or signed using initials, so we do have that under number 3.
And number 13?
Not listed with the time or date by the witness.
We don't have doing witnesses.
We don't do that. Official signed but did not date the envelope. Don't have that either. So it looks like
Wait a minute.
ballot.
Wait. You do, if you're going to keep 10, you still have witnessed by an election official. Something is witnessed by an election official, so you might want to keep
But they
14.
didn't, they don't, I don't believe they date the envelope.
Oh.
So this
Okay.
one says, but did not date the envelope.
Anyway.
So basically,
There.
they're going to be counted if they were received on or before Election Day without a postmark if dated, received on or before Election Day without a postmark. Voter printed the name, made a mark, or signed using initials. Voter signed a new name which is similar but not exactly the same as the name registered under. Signed in the wrong place. And if it was witnessed by an election official. So those are all things. The rest
Okay.
of them are not
We have to have some.
appropriate.
Now we're going in the will nots.
These were no count guidelines for challenged ballot envelopes.
Yep. Okay.
Now, special needs, I don't know, I'm not familiar enough with this page to make any suggestions because I don't know about early special needs or electronic ballots. I don't know what's required when they fill out a request for special needs. I don't know what's required, what the envelope looks like. I can't recall in my mind.
It's got it's an envelope like it used to be the yellow envelope.
I know what the yellow, I don't know if is it
But
still
it's-
the same, Amy? Is it still that
Yeah.
yellow envelope?
No,
with the-
it's a
with the-
gray envelope for the special needs.
Yes.
And it's got a flap on it that you have to take off once the representative has
Right,
filled
and that
out
was the way the old
information.
one was with the flap
Yeah.
that came off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think what I would like to do with this one, since this is not something that we do, and I'm not familiar with, the envelope and what happens when they request, either a fax or electronic, what has to fill out and what comes back. I guess if the other commissioners are okay, I would like to have the clerk's office look at this and review it and see what needs to be done here, because I don't think we have enough information to be able to do that. Whereas these other ones, we actually do because we're here and going through all those
Yeah.
ballots. But this one, I'm not sure what happens when they come in, because we only get the ones that are approved. So I don't know.
And I
don't
have to
know.
comment that there's plenty of mention of witnessing officials in
Right,
this one,
and
too,
I
so
don't
you need to look
know
at that hard.
what happens here. I do think that the word absentee should be taken out in the heading. We should say early in-person, special needs, electronic, and fax challenged ballots. We're using the word challenged. So I think we can change the heading, but other than that, I would prefer that the Muni give us some direction, and then we as a commission can look at it after it's been
Okay.
drafted. And are the other commissioners okay with that then, Glenn?
Yes.
Since- Yeah, okay. I just think, again, like I said, I don't have enough information. And we're going to review all this anyway after these changes are made, so that would be my suggestion. Okay, we're not doing too bad.
You're going
Okay,
to have fun with this next
the
one.
last section are a list of terms. So,
Look at what they say when it's ballot envelope or envelope.
well, let me say something before we get there. Here's what I think should be added for terms, and then why don't we do that first, and then we can go back.
Okay.
I think accessible vote center should be added, so ABC should have a definition. It's not in here under the list of terms.
It may be in Title 28.
Right, and I don't know, but I think it should be in the manual. I also think that the secure ballot drop box should have a definition, because we don't have that either.
I was a little confused. Well, never mind. I'm getting into the other regs, so forget it.
I do think election center should have a definition, like, here's the election center and here's what not like, 5 paragraphs, but here's what it is. I think that vote by mail should have a definition, because we use the word vote by mail in here. I think that we've had talked about at our Canvas meetings the security envelope. That should say that's the envelope inside the ballot envelope that the ballot gets put in.
What's this?
I didn't see those in here, so those would be my suggestions for adding some definitions. And then I thought I'd bring those out before we went into
Security sleeve is what you mean. Yeah.
I guess is an envelope
Yeah,
used
it's
a
a
security
sleeve.
envelope, or is
It's
it
a
called
sleeve.
a sleeve? Or
It's a sleeve.
So we've used both.
You need
and
those when you're doing vote by mail?
Yeah.
We've used both security sleeve and security envelope, and so I will just verify with Barbara and
Which
see which
term?
one. Yeah. And
We've always
for-
said sleeve, but
Yeah.
she may have some other.
I'll just put either or depending on what the term is, because I don't really know. Okay.
And for clarification, would you like the address of the election center in here, and then we can update if we do ever move?
No, I think it should just be what the election center encompasses.
What it is. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it identifies-
why don't we start on page, I'm having a hard time reading all of a sudden, 18. It's like my glasses came down and then I couldn't read because I wasn't looking in the right spot.
That's where I was going.
So why don't we start with absentee ballot?
Yep.
I think we just need, I don't know. Do we need that definition? We're not using the word absentee anymore. The definition says a ballot voted before or on election day by a person away from his or her home precinct and may be voted in person or by mail, which sort of encompasses a lot. And I think maybe we need to define what you were talking about earlier.
That
like,
encompasses
what was it?
double sets
Temporary
of circumstances.
address?
Yeah, thank you. I keep forgetting
Yeah.
that. I think we should add one that says temporary address ballot request or something like that.
So you have to get rid of absentee ballot.
Right.
All right.
I think we need to get rid of that one.
We'll have to
Temporary
educate the
address
public,
request.
though, because they're so
Right.
used to that word.
Yes.
So we can put some sort of definition in there regarding that. I think we can leave that with Amy on that one.
Oh.
Ballot distribution sheet, I guess. A list of ballot types by precinct minus limited LRSA's. Ballot style or ballot style numbers are also sometimes referred to as ballot card numbers. We do have a ballot distribution sheet, so I know what that is, so I think that should stay in there.
Okay.
Under ballot envelope, or maybe we should say ballot envelope or envelope, it should maybe say ballot envelope or ballot return envelope.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Instead of where it says, I'm sorry, where it's, I didn't mean in the heading, I meant where it says, where the word absentee is. So it should say ballot envelope types include ballot return envelope by mail.
Oh. That's a different heading.
Oh, I wasn't putting it in the heading, but we could. It said ballot envelope or envelope, and then it had an
Yeah.
envelope containing a voted ballot. Ballot envelope types include
Oh.
ballot return envelope by mail.
Okay. I was in the wrong place.
Early in person, take the word absentee out.
Okay.
Questions, special needs. And then the fax and the email don't have envelopes, so we don't have those in envelopes, so that's good that that's not included there.
Okay.
That early in-person absentee, I think it's a valid one.
I think we should take the word absentee out and just say early in person. We
Okay.
took the word absentee out on everything else.
Okay.
And is the by mail board, is that still election officials appointed by the muni clerk to process by mail ballot? Do they also process by mail applications, or are they just processing those that are returned?
I'm not familiar with by mail board.
Well, the by mail board, I used to just, they used to take all of the absentee ballot requests and create a list, and then what day they sent it out, what day it came back.
But all
That's-
of these are by mail. And why do we have to?
Well, they don't call it that anymore. What do you call it? The
The review and resolution team?
review and resolution team. So I think we should add the review and resolution team. Let's
Instead
add
of the by
that
mail
too.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there isn't really what I call a by mail board because that's what they used to do.
It's all
So I think we could take the by mail
Okay.
board out and we use and put in the review and resolution team.
Yeah, no, to settle it. The RRT members may also. I like shorthand. Okay. Okay.
So accountable ballot is ballots that have been reviewed and found eligible to be counted. The tabulating team, I know there's a team, is that what they call the one that was sitting over here, the tabulating team? A team of 2 election officials appointed by the municipal clerk to tabulate ballots that have been determined to be countable. It's pretty good. Cutoff, election day at 8 p.m. And we don't want to say when the polls close. We're just going to say election cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cutoff is election at 8 p.m. And should we say, and ballots postmarked by election? Ballots that are postmarked and postmarked on election day and received.
Is that maybe
Why do we have the word cutoff in there? I don't think we need it.
I think it's just determining the polls, talking about the polls.
There are no more polls with by mail.
Right. So that has to do with the polling places
Yeah,
where the cutoff is.
But those boxes, shouldn't that refer to
The boxes are all
the
supposed to be
drop boxes?
closed and cleared at 8 o'clock.
So the
Well,
cutoff
exactly.
would be election day at 8 p.m., which would include the accessible vote centers, the drop-off boxes.
Drop-off boxes.
Accessible vote centers, drop-off boxes,
And this center too, because at the
and
center...
election center.
Yeah,
So election center is an ABC.
it's an ABC.
Oh, it is, so we can say it's so part of the ABCs, okay.
Okay.
So really, we'll use the cutoff, it's election day at 8 p.m., and that would include the accessible vote centers, which includes here, and the drop-off boxes. Those are the only other
Those
two
are the
things
two.
that would
Okay.
come in, because there's no polls anymore, so those are
Yeah.
the two things that replace the polls. Okay, that sounds good. Election administrator or election coordinator, appointed by the municipal clerk in consultation with the chair of the assembly, whose primary duties include supervising the day-to-day details of municipal elections. And you did say we still have an election administrator.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
Barbara.
self-explanatory.
Election
and-
commission or commissioners are members of the public appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the assembly, whose duties are specified in Anchorage Municipal Code. And then you might want to check to make sure that's
The
still the
code
same.
is still...
Check out the code, make sure it's still the same. An election official is a person appointed by the muni clerk to work preparing for conducting election activities and includes members of the election commission, which we are considered election officials. Typically, election officials work in any capacity as needed and as assigned by the election administrator or election coordinator or the municipal clerk. Can't see anything there. Elections report, a report of the public session of canvass, signed by, and take the word all out, signed by election commission members, or signed by a quorum. There we go. Signed by a quorum of election commission members. submitted to the election administrator or election coordinator and provided with the municipal clerk's election certification report to the Anchorage Assembly. Okay, we're just changing that small thing.
Yeah.
Electronic transmission. We are using electronic transmission to only do email, so I think we need to take the word or fax out because we've listed them separately throughout the whole thing. So we're going to say electronic commission, email. And then why don't we add fax transmission? We're going to add...
Make it a separate category.
Oh, you wanted?
Oh, I know.
You have it.
We do have fax here.
Facsimile ballot is right. Is
Got
next.
it. Okay, then take fax out on here and we're good.
If I may, facsimile
Simile is different than fax. Yes, it is.
Oh,
You're right. So,
so I guess you do need another one. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
let's just say fax ballot.
Still
And then we'll
doing
say a
those?
ballot voted by a person who has requested to vote a ballot by fax. Instead of electronic, we'll use the same thing. And then we'll add a code there too.
Is there a code? Would they have to make one up?
If not, we'll use the same code because that may be encompassing both, but we're separating it for our definition.
Why would anybody ask to vote by fax instead of any other?
Well, you give up your privacy to vote just like you do by email if you're voting. I mean, I guess if for some reason something happened to me and I hadn't voted and I was planning to vote on election day and something happened, or whatever the cutoff is, I would ask for a fax ballot.
Huh.
Okay. A facsimile ballot is where a ballot is duplicated by a facsimile team when a ballot is rejected by the optical scan unit or is submitted by electronic transmission or fax.
See?
So we're going to add fax on that. The facsimile team is a team of 2 election officials appointed by the Muni clerk to duplicate a ballot that was rejected by the optical scan unit or was voted by electronic transmission or fax. GIF, Geographical Information File, online street card used to establish residential precinct. Is GIF still used? I don't know.
I think it's GIS.
That's what I thought.
But
I thought it was
I'll ask
GIS.
Barbara.
I don't know about GIF.
Information system.
Yeah. I know that's used for, okay. MOA is Muni of Anchorage, okay, municipal clerk is the official responsible, quote, and it's got the quote from the Muni code, we don't need to do anything with that. Pending, ballot envelopes not yet fully processed and needing further review before the final determination is made to count or reject the ballot envelope. So we'll add on. Precinct order, a grouping of ballots placed in order by precinct number. Okay? Precinct questioned or questioned ballot register. A register where voters sign their name at the precinct polling location before being given a ballot in a questioned ballot envelope.
We don't
It's
have
no longer-
precincts.
Right. So we don't have that anymore. Is there a register that's kept here, though?
So the accessible vote centers,
Oh, that's
a
true.
voter can go in and vote a
Yeah, that's
Question
question.
true.
ballot, okay. Okay, so instead of precinct, we're going to say, take the word precinct out, and say
ABC.
question or question ballot register. A register where voter signs their name as at a
An
AVC,
At an AVC.
at an AVC, before being given a ballot in a questioned ballot envelope. Okay, that changes that. Precinct register, a list of registered voters' names at each precinct polling location where the voter signs the precinct register before being given a ballot. Do they sign anything at the ABCs?
They sign, but I don't know if it's called the register. It possibly could be. It's a binder.
It's the
So
old,
I can
like the
I'll
ones we
look
used to
at the
have at
language.
precincts.
Something similar.
So we're not going to say precinct, we're going to say,
At an AVC location.
we're just going to, it's not going to say precinct, we're going to say
Ballot register.
ballot register. And we'll say a list of registered voters' names at an ABC location, or we can just say at an ABC, where the voter signs the register, take the word precinct out, before being given a ballot, and then you can
Okay.
check the code on that. And we just got the word on the next one where we say precinct question register. Register where question voters sign their name at the precinct polling location before being given a ballot, question ballot.
What's the
Did we just do that?
Yeah,
We just
it's
do that?
duplicate.
Okay, we can take that one out because we just said it, questioned or question ballot. Yeah, okay. We just said that one too up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dying under detail.
public session of canvass, a meeting at which the election commissions, no, it should be the
Should
election
be.
commission. We don't
No
need that.
plural, yeah.
Not plural. There's not more than one of us. A meeting at which the election commission announces its decisions as to which, and we're just going to say ballots. We're going to take out the word absentee and question because now we're saying
Okay.
which ballot
Yeah.
envelopes,
Ballot, singular.
ballot envelopes will be rejected and which shall be counted. The public may offer evidence to challenge a ballot envelope which has not been validly cast, or to challenge the rejection of a ballot envelope again.
You're going to have to back up on that one. You
Okay.
can't cast the ballot envelope.
True.
Only the ballot.
Announces this decision as to which ballot envelopes will be rejected, and but we still have to say envelopes because we're rejecting the ballot envelopes will be rejected, and which shall be
Okay, so get rid of which have not been validly cast.
right. Okay, because they shall be counted. Okay.
Right.
The public may offer evidence to challenge a ballot envelope which has not been. Yeah, we're not going to say a ballot envelope. The public may offer evidence to challenge a ballot envelope which has not been properly
Submitted?
No.
well, it's not been properly.
Filled out? Submitted?
I challenge a ballot envelope which has not been
Wait.
public may offer.
The public may offer evidence to challenge a ballot envelope.
I don't even think we need to have to say which has not been validly
That's what I was
cast
trying to
because we're already
say.
saying.
Period.
So
You get rid of that.
So take that out because we're saying
You can't cast the ballot envelope.
which shall be the public may offer evidence to challenge a ballot envelope or to challenge the rejection of a ballot envelope which has not been properly.
Rejected is not correct.
You could just put down,
Okay, we're saying
Uh,
it's a meeting where we announce our decisions as to which ballot envelopes will be rejected and which shall be counted. The public may offer evidence to challenge any ballot envelope, let's just say any ballot envelope, which has been rejected.
wait a
They
minute.
can
This
offer
is devil's
evidence for
speak.
any.
Quiet.
Yeah,
It is.
They're
Hold
repeating
on.
and they're saying it 3 times.
I was going to say,
So-
yeah, it can only be rejected once for one thing or another.
Okay, a meeting at which the election commission announces its decision as to which ballot envelopes will be rejected and which shall be counted.
Okay.
Period. The public may offer evidence to challenge a ballot envelope which has been rejected. Period. So the public has the
Yeah.
opportunity to, yeah.
They don't know if it's been properly rejected or not.
So they're just going to challenge. They have the opportunity to challenge a ballot envelope which has been rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll make that a second sentence instead of a semicolon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too long. Capital T, the. Yeah. Okay, to challenge a ballot envelope which has been
Which has been rejected.
rejected. Perfect. Yeah. Never
Because it
takes 60
doesn't matter.
words to
it's
say
not-
something when you can say it with 6.
It's not being counted because it's already been rejected and they're not, okay.
Yep. Tripping over at terminologies.
And they offer a challenge, which we repeated later on, the same
Yep.
thing. So why
Yep.
are we repeating the
Yep.
word twice? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Question ballot. A ballot voted on election day if a voter is not voting in his or her registered precinct, which we don't have anymore. So a question ballot is really the ones that we have that are questioned.
The only one you have that are question will be the question ballot envelope.
Right. We don't have a ballot voted on election day, so this really doesn't apply.
No.
Because we're dealing with election day. We don't have an election day anymore where they're in the precinct, in his or her registered precinct. Or if the information on the register is no longer accurate, the voter places the ballot in a question ballot envelope. Okay, when they go to an ABC center and their name is not on the list, they can still vote a question ballot. Okay, so we need to reword this, that a question ballot is a ballot, okay, we're going to say a ballot voted on election day.
Okay. You'll have to give the reasons why they're questioned. They should be changed.
Okay, question ballot is a ballot voted, but we're not going to say on election day, we're going to say
Right.
at an ABC center.
Yes.
Because it could be at an ABC, a ballot voted at an ABC center.
And ABC Center is there.
Right, so a ballot voted at an ABC center.
No center.
Well, they're called Accessible Vote Center, ABC. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, okay. Okay, a ballot voted at an ABC, I got it, ABC center, I'm saying that, okay.
Okay.
Voted at an ABC.
If a voter is not. So why would they be voting in?
If, and we can continue to say, if the information on the election register, which we did say we kept election register.
You don't have to say in the registered precinct because they're not voting in precincts.
Right, I didn't, yeah.
So we get rid of that.
So we're going to say a ballot voted at an ABC center if the information on the election register
Yeah.
is no longer accurate.
Get rid of
The
the
voter,
precinct thing.
right, the voter places the ballot in a question ballot envelope so the election commission or election officials may verify information on the
Yep.
element. Okay, so the only thing we're taking out is if a voter is not voting in his or her
Yeah.
registered precinct.
Right.
Otherwise, we're leaving everything the same except changing it to an ABC center instead of the precinct. Okay,
Yep.
got it. My mind is kind of spinning right now.
Well, ours is an entire
Question. So the question ballot envelope is the envelope containing a question ballot. Okay, fine. Registered voter is a process initiated by a citizen that establishes entitlement to vote by meeting certain qualifications and filling out necessary paperwork that is mandated or maintained, in a central registry. No problem. Rejected ballot. A ballot that is found not to be countable. Okay, I have no problem with that.
Yep.
Report a public canvass, a draft report. Geez, we're on the last page.
Hey.
A draft report of public canvass is prepared by the election administrator or election coordinator for the election commission's review. The final report of public canvass is prepared for the public canvass meeting detailing rejected ballot envelopes and is signed by the election commission and provided to the assembly with the municipal clerk's election certification report.
Don't need to change anything.
Well, I think we should change after the word review semicolon, put a period there and make it another sentence because that sentence is way too long.
Yes.
Do you see where I'm talking
Yes.
about? Yeah, I hate sentences
Agreed.
that are like 5 long.
I'd like to be able to find the sentence.
Review team. A team of at least 2 election officials appointed by the municipal clerk to review voted ballot envelopes. Okay, that is now called the...
The review and resolution team.
Okay, so we were going to add that definition. So why don't we, when we put what the review and resolution team does, let's add this sentence to that, because I don't know if they do something else as well. So that's going to go with that definition. We'll add. And so it says a team of at least 2 election officials to review voted ballot envelopes to validate information, because they also send out the cure letter. So let's add, under that definition, we're going to add the opportunity, the cure letter there.
Wait a minute. How's the whole sentence going to read?
I don't know. We're going to have her put something in for the.
Okay.
They're going to send out an opportunity to cure letter.
Okay.
Since I don't know enough about it,
Okay.
is it going to send? Do they send it out like within a couple days? And whatever. I think we should define
Okay,
what
so
the
you could say
opportunity to cure is.
and send an opportunity to cure letter.
Like I said, we're going to review it again.
Yeah.
So we're going to change review team to review and resolution team. Special needs ballot, a ballot voted by a person who is unable to go to a polling location and we're not going to say polling
No,
location,
we're going to say.
to an ABC center. An ABC, thank you, I keep saying center.
We know what you mean.
A ballot voted by a person who is unable to go to an ABC due to disability or illness. A special needs ballot is placed in a special needs envelope and is processed similarly to, we're not using the word absentee ballot anymore, similarly to, isn't the special needs similar to a question ballot? Or not?
Yeah.
The way it processed, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's change that to question.
A question.
What?
Right.
What are we changing?
We're going to say on the last line is processed similarly to a question ballot.
Question ballot. Okay, got it. I was left behind a bit. There.
So on a special needs voter can still vote through a representative, so I don't see anything changed there.
You know, I'm a little puzzled. I just have to interject this. Why would vote by mail would you any longer need a special needs voter? Because it's coming to the house.
Well, because they could be in the hospital.
Well, that's true. Okay.
Because we,
They
I
do
know,
got it.
I know that
Yeah.
The Muni asked the League of Women Voters to go
Okay.
to the hospitals to
All right.
deliver ballots for people, which would be like special
Okay.
needs because they couldn't make it.
All right.
Okay, so special needs voter, that's nothing. I mean, that's just defining what it is.
Yeah.
Optical scan, let's take the word unit out and just say optical scan. The optical scan machine, is there only one that counts ballots?
Yes,
Or-
it's,
yeah, that's what I thought.
it's
So-
a system.
So, yeah.
Oh, these are our optical scan, but we call them Dominion because that's
Okay.
our vendor.
That's
Our
the
vendor is
vendor.
Dominion. So I guess they are called optical scan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
the
We'll just
type
leave
of
it
voting.
that
So
way.
So
optical
they-
scan, we're going to say the optical scan equipment. There we go. Let's say take the word machine out and say equipment
Or
because then
units, whichever.
I like equipment better. I think
Okay.
equipment just means anything. You know what
Well,
I mean?
that's true, yeah.
It could mean the tabulation, the way
Yeah.
the results come out on the printer.
Okay.
The optical scan equipment used to tabulate ballots and record vote totals. There we go for the
Mm-hmm.
MOA. And we're going to take out currently the AccuVote. We're not going to have that in.
Praise the Lord. Oh, I hate it.
Uncountable ballot, ballots that cannot be counted, sometimes called no-count ballots or rejected ballots. I don't like the word rejected ballots because we're using rejected ballots throughout the whole thing. They're no-count ballots is really what they are.
Okay.
They're not counted. Of course they're rejected because they can't be counted, but they're called no-count ballots. VREMS, that's the database owned and maintained by the State of Alaska Division of Elections, containing voter registration information, and I think we should put what the acronym VREMS means.
Yeah, please. I was a little confused. What does that mean?
It means Voter Registration Electronic Management System.
Oh, wow. What an awful.
So I think that should. I
Voter
think it should.
registration.
I think we should define REMS there.
Electronic.
Management system.
Okay. No wonder it's called it REM. REM.
Oh, poor Amy. Okay.
Okay, we're done. Hey.
So we have gone through page by page, and we kind of went back and forth and debated and talked, and I think it definitely needs another review.
Yes.
And then added some categories.
And we added some definitions, which we may find later. Maybe we need to add more, but I think it's made it clearer, and I think it, like I said, it requires another commission meeting to go through.
Agreed.
And so I don't know, Amy, what your time frame is, or what Barbara's time frame is.
So we are gonna gear up even more beginning of March because that's
Okay.
when our early voting is gonna start. We're gonna have more election workers starting, training, and all of that.
And we need to know the training dates because we're supposed to sit in on
Yes.
those also.
Yeah, Barbara and I are gonna sit down together and go through all of our election workers and figure out who's coming when, and we have to work with employee relations and make sure they can come for orientation, or they have an orientation day opening
Okay.
for us. Let's see, today is the 13th, so we could do sometime next week. We do have I don't know if we're working yet or not, but the 18th is President's Day, and it's a municipal holiday. I'm not sure, depending on our timeline, if we have, deadlines and things that we need to finish, if Barbara and I are going to be working. I'm not sure. But
I'll tell you the answer is yes.
probably. Yeah.
That's Monday.
That's
Yeah, that's
Monday.
the 18th,
So I would be here and I could still work on this. So if you guys would like to meet on the 20th, that's next Wednesday. Oh, I need to check and make sure the Ethics and Elections Committee. I just have to make sure.
Well, the 20th
know
would
when
work for
theirs.
me.
The 20th would work.
I'm available anytime.
I don't have anything that day, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I've had everything every day for the last 2 weeks. I can't
Will you
believe I
be
don't
back?
have anything. I'm here. I'm still here.
So the
Oh,
same
I'm still
noon
here.
hour?
Do you all like the noon hour?
That's fine.
Yeah, the 20th. That sounds good.
Would you like to extend it to 2-hour meeting?
Might be a good idea.
And then if we
For a
don't, we
margin.
don't. Yeah. So I will put it down, and then if it changes, let us know.
After this, I'll look at the calendar and just make sure there's no.
You can send us an email.
Conflicts.
Boom.
I'll send you
Thank
an email. Yeah.
Sometimes I forget. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to do it on the 20th at noon to about 2. Okay.
We certainly went
Shucks,
over
I
our
thought I
time.
had a day to myself. No, I'm all good. Okay, well, if we don't have anything else before the commission, basically our only item on the agenda was to review the manual. And so which we've done, and with some suggestions and updates and different things. So if
Yeah, I'm not going to put this in
there
my
is
bag. I'll leave it.
a motion to adjourn, we'll adjourn.
I so moved.
Okay, second. Okay, we are adjourning, and it is 1:50. We are adjourned.